Hey everyone, we wanted to record this video and release this podcast for y'all to announce something brand new for our church family. We are here with our worship leaders from our family of churches talking about a project that they've been working on for a while. So we wanted to release these episodes to talk more about it. Before we get into these songs and what they're about, I thought we could just do a quick introduction because I know not everyone knows everyone who's watching and listening right now.
Love it. I'll go first. I'm Catherine Filoni. I am the worship leader at Midtown 2 Notch.
Mm-hmm. How long you been there?
I've been there for 2 years now.
Nice. But been around Midtown about?
I've been around Midtown since college, so like 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
I'm Jay Hendricks. I'm one of the pastors at Midtown. Helped plant Midtown. Moved here in 2007. Been helping with production and worship leading since around then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I am Andrew Flowers. I came around Midtown downtown back in 2015, and then started leading out at Midtown Lexington around 2016, and then came on staff around 2017.
Became a pastor in
2021. Yep, 2021. Yep, the summer of 2021. Got ordained out at Midtown Lexington, and yep, it's been great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the project is y'all put together a 3-song EP, little record for our church family that y'all I know have been working on for how long now?
A couple years. Yeah, it kind of depends on the timeline, but a couple of the songs, I guess, for Be Still, that one we started in like 2017 or something like that when we first met. But yeah, I mean, the whole project, probably since 2017, but more intentionally for the past year and a half, working with songwriters and just trying to get them polished and kind of get them to the finish line. But yeah, about a year and a half.
So a cool thing about this project is there's 3 songs. Each of you had a song that you were the lead writer on.
That's
so
right.
This is like a very collaborative sort of showcasing our family of churches, the worship leaders, and even like the worship styles a little bit. So the first song that we want to talk about is the one that you wrote, Catherine, Be Still. And I wonder if you could talk to us more about that process. How did that song, y'all mentioned it started, you had the seed of an idea 5 years ago, and now we're here. So if you want to walk us through sort of how it became, what it became.
It's funny because I wrote that in 2017 in my room at my parents' house, and it was like in a season that I didn't know how to be still, but it was like something that I longed for. And so it like kind of got birthed out of that of like, okay, there's a lot happening. I don't know what to do, but I want to be still, but I can't. And so kind of just like wrote that on a whim, pretty much. Like wrote the verses and chorus, and then ran into Jay at Drip, and he was kind of like leading me at that time because I was in college ministry and working with A-Flow in worship, and saw Jay at Drip in Columbia, and he was like, "Do you songwrite?" And I was like, I mean, I wrote a few things down.
Just recently,
actually. I was like, it's crazy. I just wrote something last Sunday or something. And so he was like, cool, yeah, email it to me and we'll like work on it. And so I emailed him a horrible voice memo. My guitar was probably out of tune. And
I remember, well, we'll find out. We'll pull it up in a second. I remember you, I ran into you and we had kind of just gotten to know each other and we did a tryout and everything. And I remember you being physically uncomfortable because I was like walking out and saying hello, but your back was to me. And then when you turned around, you were like physically. And I was like, you do songwrite? You got any songs? And you're like, yeah, I got some songs. And I was like, send them to me right now. Just send them to me. And you were like,
sure,
definitely. But I don't know. I just remember kind of at that time we were, and this might be going off into another tangent, but we were, what I realized was I had all these voice memos and these ideas of songs that never were going anywhere. And so I'm not great at worship songwriting, church songwriting. And I just found that I was starting songs, have a chorus or a tag or a verse, and it would just never get finished. And then I was looking at my voice memos, and I had hundreds and hundreds of ideas, but had no reason to finish them.
Yeah.
And so at that time, I was really kind of trying to find other people who were in that same place. Where it's like, do you work on songs? Do you want to finish songs? Like,
has this ever been you?
Do you have 1 million voice memos that sound bad because you're singing in your car and your kids are in the background and there's a dog barking?
I don't know if I can help, but me too.
Yeah, me too. Let's cry together about it. No, honestly, at that time, I was like, any time that I met someone that was working through music, I think I still do this now, but hey, how can I help you finish this? Let's work on it together. And it is an easy way to kind of just get to hang out with you as well. Mm-hmm. So
that's right. Yeah, I mean, it really was the prompting for us starting to hang out, and then when I came around Midtown, Jade kind of brought me up and discipled me, and came on staff as a pastor in training and worked under him for 2 years. I mean, 2+ years. And then at that time, when you started coming around, it was like you came around and started doing college stuff, and the 3 of us worked together, and then the 2 of us worked together. Yeah. So, I mean, but that song was kind of like it's some of the prompting for all of that, and some of the prompting for, getting involved and doing some more intentional discipleship stuff, which was really neat.
Yeah, sure. I remember specifically sitting in our office, probably for one of the first times where it was like you had kind of the chorus and the main melody, the structure of it, and then kind of a verse, and we were like, well, let's just flesh this out. Let's work through this, and then we pulled out I think the bridge a little bit more in that time, and I think Brent was in there.
Yep.
Brent was playing keys. Like, he heard us singing in there, and he was like, "Wait a."
That's right. I'm
gonna play keys on this. And he did it, and we recorded it, and it was like, this is really cool. It was enough for us to lead.
That's right.
So we found some opportunities to lead it. So it's really cool to see the development.
I totally forgot about Brent. So it's like in that room now. Currently, there are 4 churches represented. 3 churches that Midtown has planted. That was in that room.
Yeah,
because Brent's up in Charlotte with Citizens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward for us a little bit. So you sort of wrote this in 2017, and you were working with the guys, and you've played this song in front of people at one of our churches.
Yes, I vividly remember playing it at Two Notch when we were at Schoolhouse Road, and I wasn't working at Two Notch yet. And I remember Brent or Courtney scheduled me, and they're like, "Hey, come lead that song." And I was like, okay. Sure. But then it was like, oh, this is really cool to like see that other people were resonating with that and wanting to like be still before the Lord.
Yeah.
In spite of like all things going on in their lives. And then I feel like Jay and Aflo like championed me on to like, yeah, do that. Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And then I remember there's one that I led, Be Still, at downtown, and Jay got like a cello, and we were going to record it. And then I just forgot to tune my guitar.
Oh, no.
And
we get on stage, he's like, "You didn't tune your guitar." And I was like, "Not one bit."
We're not going to keep that recording.
No.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I wanted to do for it is that I remember hearing the song and being like, this is really cool. It's really sticky. There are some things that we need to work on to make it a little bit more corporate instead of, this is great for listening or playing at home in your parents' house or whatever. But for putting it in front of people, how can we make it corporate? And so I remember the first iteration, it was just be still and know. And then it was like in the midst of all these things, be still and know. And so the direction was a little bit off. Like it wasn't very clear, like, who are we talking? Like, it's almost like you're saying be still, but who are you talking to? We talking to the congregation? We talking to myself? Be still and know that you are God. So it's like you, but I'm telling me to be still. So I remember you had like a little bit of a, oh, And it was like, oh, well, what if we just said, I will be still. I will be still. And then when we got further along the line, it was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then the ending of the bridge, I just thought it was really cool how, we put the I wills in there. We kind of had to figure out where they go because we didn't want to say it every time in the chorus. But I really liked that idea. And then we got to the bridge. We're ending on this like, I will not be shaken. I will not be shaken. I will not be shaken, but I will
be still.
Yeah. And it was like, man, it's so cool. And I've talked about this with songwriting before in the past, but I feel such a connection to the divinity in those moments where it's like, oh, I couldn't have shaped that like by myself. Like I needed the Lord to use community and experience and his truth to like really pull all that together and get to see all that.
To see it all click into place.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted. When I heard that song, I was like, you could play it today and I think it would be good. I don't know that it's going to have legs to carry forth for 5 years because you probably get tired of it because it's not fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted was like, let's just get the best version of it that we can get so that we can really kind of take hold of it and use it for our church family.
Yeah. I think that meeting with like Jay and A-Flow of like, okay, like what does this look like? And adding words that are like, oh, this is more helpful to like put on people's lips of like, I'm not going to do this, but I will do this. And helping like map out like, okay, what do you want the verses to sound like in chorus? And so it was like, I wasn't thinking about that. But helping like y'all helping with experience to like help me shape and mold that.
Yeah.
And it was like, so with all the technical stuff and even when you were talking about just writing it in your parents' house, and it's like, this is something that I wanted, a quote that I remember, I couldn't tell you who said it. I could tell you who told me, but I don't know who said it originally. But it's like songs that move people were written by people who've been moved, right? And so it's like, it took some work to flesh out and make it corporate and make it helpful, but it started from a place of the Lord, working something in you. It's like, this is something that I want to grow in.
It's pretty special.
Yeah. And now, it's, you talked about leading it at 2-notch and leading it downtown. I know downtown led it in the month of July. It's like, it's something that the Holy Spirit can use. And so that's a real gift of art in general. Yeah. It's like the ability to create something that the Lord uses to move people. And it starts with the artist being moved. So
one of the things that I love about this chorus in particular is I feel like one of the things with worship songs in general is we're singing things that we don't believe sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And that's a really difficult thing on a Sunday where it's like, I'm saying I'm going to live my life for you or that my heart is all yours. And it's like,
could I sing of your love forever?
I could not sing of your love forever. I won't probably because I don't. Yeah. But with this one, and I think a lot of those songs even are like, I want to live out what I want to be true.
I want to. Yeah.
And this one, it kind of just cuts through to it. Like, I will be still. Like I'm going to, I'm going to be still. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah.
Often my heart, my soul is not still. Yeah. And so even with that pre-chorus that we added, it goes, be still my soul, be still my soul. I will be still and know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Reminds me of the psalm. It's like, why are you downcast, oh my soul? Hope in the Lord, hope in God, put your hope. So it's, it's some of that, David did self-taught. It's like, okay, heart, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Psalm 42, 43. Is that right?
I believe that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's right. Let's keep that.
So kind of how we got further down the road with this song was we had kind of worked on it. And I would say in 2020, we were kind of like, it's done.
Yeah.
And then I started working with Zach Bolin of the band Citizens in early 2021 because I just gotten to this place of like, I just can't get these songs finished. I feel like I have these ideas and they're there, but I just can't get them done.
Yeah.
And at the time we were already doing the Songwriters Collaborative, or we had finished it, where we were just all coming together. and working on songs.
Sure.
And it just kind of felt like we've gotten these as far as we can get them, but they're still not done yet, it feels like. And so it was probably 2 years ago, I was talking to my buddy Cole Simpson, and he was like, well, why don't you just reach out to like somebody who works in Nashville in songwriting and just get them to do like some consulting? And I was like, okay, I haven't thought about that. And he said, yeah, because then you're paying for the time and you're getting some proper feedback, but you're also getting to learn from them in regards to how they do songwriting and how they process through stuff. And they can also kind of give you that stamp of approval of like, no, this is done. And so we started doing that with some other songs, including the other 2 songs on this EP. And at the end of that, I was like, hey, I have this one other song. I feel like it just needs to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because he was able to pull out things that as soon as he did it, I was like, yep, that's what we should have been doing.
Yeah.
And so I think like at the end of the first verse, you will always stay the same. We didn't repeat that until we heard Zach do it. And it was like, we would just end the song. You will always stay the same. And when he did it, it was like, you will always stay the same. You will always stay the same. And or however the demo was. And it was just like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. Like, this is way better. We should have been doing this the whole time. Or at the end of the chorus when he's like, you're always working and you're worthy. Yeah. It was like, oh man, just saying worthy twice there makes so much sense. So that was just a huge payoff. Super grateful for that time. And for Cole's encouragement to kind of push me over the edge on that, because I was just like hitting the ceiling on my ability. And so it's really cool to hear those different versions. And I do have that voice memo if we want to listen to it.
Let's listen to it.
Yeah. Catherine's like, yeah, definitely. Let's do it, you guys. All right. So this is just that first idea. You have no idea what this sounds like, I would assume. This is 2000.
Oh, the guitar sounds in tune.
We need more O's. We need more O's.
Yeah, throw some more O's in there. Whoa.
That was the ending. But all the bones are in there.
That's from 5 years ago. Is that right?
5 years.
Wow. Yeah.
I will say, having heard you play this song for years now and like performing that in front of people, it's felt like, even though we've just recorded this in a polished version, it's felt like this song has been a part of our church family for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to see it like in its final form.
Yeah. It's cool because like even friends that have like walked with me since like college ministry was like, oh yeah, you've like, the Lord has healed and like grown you in learning how to be still. And like the irony of like, oh, when you wrote that, you couldn't for the life of you. And now seeing how the Lord has like helped me become better at being still before him. But it's cool.
I think it's awesome just to have church family who is like really encouraging and just in your corner, because any time that we would do a change, and I can almost guarantee you that in this podcast, somebody's going to hear that demo and be like, I like that better. I should have kept that.
Yeah.
But almost always it's like if we'll put a demo up for that song but we'll not use the second verse. We ended up just keeping that first verse. Yep. And somebody's like, I think the second verse is good. Yeah. I think we should do the second verse. I'm like, all right, I mean, I need you in the room when we're doing songwriting, maybe. But yeah, so that's the demo. And I thought it was really cool listening back to it last week or 2 weeks ago when we were setting up for this. But how it's like, there's a lot in there that we kept. I mean, it was just like the majority of it. Yeah. And then even when we took it to Zach, and he kind of took a swing at it, and just hearing his take and his kind of, I mean, he writes songs all the time. And so for him to be able to go, okay, here's what I would do, and here's how I would kind of navigate it. I thought it was really helpful. So, yeah, I mean, we could play some of that too. I don't know if that's going to be what we want for the content, but
yeah, the Zach's demo.
Yeah. So let's listen to. Yeah, I'd love to. I think one of the things that stood out for me was, again, some of the phrasing, but then how he does the repeats. And I'll just kind of play that first part.
So before we play it, so just to set this up, this is Zach Boland from Citizens, who y'all have been collaborating with this stuff. So this is his take on Catherine's song.
Something about even that intro, like in contrast to the acoustic, like just driving and, you like really pushing. He's like, oh, I want to be still. That's cool.
Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are working. And I will be still and know that you are good. Be still and know that you are worthy. In the midst of my trials, and when everything's changing, you'll always be the same. You'll always be.
We didn't do that.
How was that? Can we get some subtitles on?
Yes, we'll have the subtitle. But that repeat, you always stay the same, you always stay the same. And then that, this.
Be still, my soul. Be still, my soul. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are working. Be still and know that you are good. Oh, be still and know that you are worthy.
Yeah.
Man.
But
Yeah.
Catherine.
Go ahead, Jake.
Catherine, how does that feel knowing, someone, a professional singer-songwriter, like covering your song? What's that like?
I remember we were in Jay's little studio in Blanding. He's like, Zach played it. You want to hear it? And I was like, yeah, like fangirling a little bit, because it's like, we've done his music at Midtown for so long. Yeah. And then hearing him do his spin on that was like, oh, this is wild.
Yeah.
How the Lord is like taken it as far as it has.
It's some outside confirmation.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like songwriting is a really intimate thing. Right.
Very vulnerable.
You're right. Because you're like, you're sharing some of your heart, and you're trying to sing it.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put these words together, and it's just like,
it's awful.
It's so, it's like, it really is. It really is. And then to hear so it's like, it's a step up to hear someone else. So like, if Jay led Be Still, it's like, man, that's really cool. But then to hear someone that's like, oh, this person gets paid to do this.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, I'm not terrible at this. This is not trash. It's like there's some, there's some affirmation
Absolutely.
in it,
Yeah.
Which was worth, again, to affirm what Cole said. It was like, this, you're going to find out what you need to know
That's
here.
right.
And I agree. Like, as soon as I heard Zach, like on our first Zoom call, and I brought an idea to him, he was like, well, what if you did it like this? And he sang it. And I was like, that sounds like a song when you sing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a weird, like, I've been singing this song for a year, but when you sing it, it sounds like a song.
Yeah.
And it's just that affirmation of like,
That's
well,
right.
it was a song. It was just in your head. And
That's
so
right.
anyway, that's a artist struggle.
Yeah, for sure. Could I do a couple nerdy songwriter things?
Please
so I thought is super interesting, especially listening to the first version to kind of where we moved it to. So there's this thing called prosody, where the words of a song, the lyric, and the melody and the actual music in the song work together. So you think about, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. So the word high is higher than the word low is lower. And so with prosody. So with something like Be Still, when Catherine brought in
Prosody. I think I get it.
The thing is, here's the thing. This has happened more than one time. So it's like, I was playing this more than once, and every time, this is whatever. So when Catherine brought that first chorus of Be Still, and she's higher and she's pushing, it's like that.
Playing that guitar as hard as you can.
That actually doesn't make me feel like being still.
Yeah.
But when you bring the melody a little bit lower, and when you pull back the music a little bit, like we do in the song, it's like, oh, there is actually some of that. And even adding the pre-chorus, right? So there's an element of the chords in the pre-chorus that gives it a sense of tension building. And so even in the track that we record, there's a little bit of build in it to like, be still my soul, and I will be still, right? And so that, that's even part of the songwriting process of figuring out, okay, this is the idea and these are the words that we want to communicate. How can the melody and the music actually lend itself to that? I know, we're not going to have a musical drop for Nerdy Songwriting Corner, but I'm sure that'll happen when we talk about all three of these.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about the bridge yet, but I mean, I think you maybe had an idea for the melody. I can't remember if we came up with that, but I just remember being like, this needs to be, how do we know that we can be still?
Yeah.
How can we go to that pushing, that driving proclamation of like, we can be still because of the Son of God is our refuge, our hope. Yeah. You know what I mean? I will not be moved. I will not be shaken.
I feel like I remember y'all being like, go write a bridge. And I was like, okay. And then I remember going back and then writing that, like, okay, why do I have the freedom and ability to be still? Yeah. And it's like, oh, because of Jesus' finished work. Like, nothing can prosper that is going to get in the way of like God's will being done in my life. And so therefore I can like rest assured that he has me and will hold me. And so I think that was like the place I was coming at. And then I remember taking it to y'all and it was like, what if we repeat that I will not be shaken and like build it and then like build it up to that. But it's cool.
Yeah. My anchor, my hope. Like I just felt like I just wanted to say that anchor. Yeah. He's my anchor. That's why we can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably if we could have worked foundation in there, but I don't think it's
the syllables. It's tough. It's tough.
All right. So with all that, we are going to listen to Be Still, and this song will be released everywhere on Friday. You can find that on Spotify and iTunes. Search Midtown Music and tune back next week and we will listen to the next song on the EP.
And I will be still and know that you are good. Oh. and I will be still and know that you are good. Oh, be still and know that you are worthy, worthy. In the midst of my trials and when everything's changing, you will always be the same. You will always be the same. In the middle of my hurting, in the middle of my pain, you will always stay the same. You will always stay the same. Be still, my soul. Oh, be still, my soul. Son of God, my anchor, my hope. I will not be moved, no. I will not be shaken.